And we are live.
Super Bowl, baby.
From Radio Row in San Francisco. It is NFL Afters Time, brought to you, as always, by our dear friends at PointsBet. I am Laurie Horesh, a very tickled pink Laurie Horesh. I've had a few comments on my tan.
Yeah,
it's been a big story. It's a big buzz.
Your Pat Surtain.
Yep. And a little Pat Surtain action coming up later. But it's been a big buzz around here. Is the Horesh tan, the beachside efforts over the summer. That was that big noise. There was someone falling over fainting at the delightful complexion I'm bringing. I am Laurie Horesh, talking about tan.
That's a long intro.
And it's listen, it's not the road dog, Jesse James, badass Billy, but it's getting up there. But I'm joined by my esteemed host. One name or two names? Have you found your second name at Super Bowl Radio Row? It is still
Jimmy.
James Basil Smith.
Legally.
On his passport.
They let me straight in the country weirdly with that name.
I mean, you know, it's how you get anywhere is a surprise and a miracle to all of us. But look, Radio Row is underway. Super Bowl week is underway. The action's picking up. It's Tuesday here, Wednesday back home. For those that don't know, with Radio Row, it's a build-up process. Monday is really purely a setup day. You might get a couple people here and there coming through talent-wise. Yeah. Tuesday it starts to build, and it did build. We got some talent that we spoke to, some Supreme Pro Bowl, even All-Pro talent that we had a little chat to that we'll get to in a bit. But I guess to start off, you know, this is your first time at Radio Row?
Yeah. Last time I went to the Super Bowl, which the Eagles as a fan, but I was there for 36 hours. Yes. It was, and there was 36 hours of action, was it just 0 hours of sleep?
Yes.
So I get to
about 36 seconds of competitive football in that Super Bowl.
Yeah,
early we knew.
It's funny that people, like, when they talk about it, like, as an Eagles fan, they're like, oh, you know, it wasn't competitive. And I do think, like, I think as an impartial, you want a competitive game. But, like, if you're a fan of a team, I love watching them do the smackdown. I was a fan of that.
There's nothing better than in a deciding game, boat racing. Like,
beers. 3 votes for Laurie Horesh. Here's to Laurie. Here's to
Someone did say that to us. There's a few Aussies lurking around the black place here, but it's, look, I think, from a fan standpoint, if you're lucky enough, and I haven't seen my NFL team get close to that, but I think back to the closest is as you know, I'm a lapsed Sydney Roosters fan. Yeah. Actually, I think of myself more as a Sydney City Roosters former fan, because I didn't care much for the Sydney name change. Yeah. But like the 30-8 win over the Warriors.
Yeah.
You know, it was tied early, and then they really kicked away. And that last little bit where they were just piling on points, it was an absolute delight. So which former rugby league, which Norm Pro?
Norm or who's the other guy in the statue?
Smith?
Smith?
Yes, we're doing well.
Yeah. Well, it's not a rugby league podcast.
No, clearly not. So look, first impressions Radio Row. It's buzzy.
I mean, my first time here. I mean, we're in the ESPN setup. Next door is Pat McAfee, the great man. It's a very impressive setup.
Yep, the Mina Kimes show is just over there.
It comes over there. Behind us, the Bleacher Report have like a arcade style setup. Serious.
It's like Time Zone meets Dave and Buster's meets. We're here to talk football.
Dance Dance Revolution.
DDR on George Street, that was a queue. That was a sweaty scene back in the mid-2000s.
I tell you, as a kid who grew up in the country in Gundawindi, and the first time you go to Brisbane and you see this, you know, time zone, you're like, what is this time zone? I don't understand what's happening. These people are all doing stuff. It's a real...
You didn't even know what a digital watch was at that point.
No, we looked at the sun. Where it was in the sky determined how angry the cows were.
Big local council investment in a sundial.
Yeah. We all had to put out money.
We all share the time.
Everyone coming to town if you want to see the time. Right. No, look, first time here, it's insane. Like, I mean, you've mentioned that as the week goes on, there'll be more people coming through and whatever. I mean, we are going to play some audio. We did get to sit down.
And video.
And video, yeah.
We are technically savvy here at ESPN Australia, New Zealand.
Nik Bonitto. And
Nik
Bonitto. And my boy, Pat Surtain II.
Say the line.
Roll Tide.
There it is.
Which we got to... I don't even know if I left that in the chat. I think I edited that out at the start. It was a pre-chat. I did Laurie a favour. I didn't want to mention...
Just talking ball, talking nonsense, and having wings with Pat Surtain II.
It does break people's brains. Because, like, look, some people don't get to spend a lot of time with Australians here in America.
Yes.
I think in where we are in media...
New York, in Cali, like, there's a lot of
that. Yeah. Look, so some people will hear the accent and go, we're Australian, but then not a lot of people know an Australian that went to Alabama. No. So that does... Like, Pat was like trying to do the g'day, mate, and do that and date me up. And then I was like, oh, I went to Bama. And he's like, sorry, what?
No, we let you in.
How do you get from Gundawindi to Tuscaloosa? And I'm like, there's actually a lot in common.
I was about to say, culturally.
Culturally, I'm like, they're pretty much the same. But yeah, it blew me away. Got to sit down with 2 Pro Bowlers. Like,
It was fantastic. I think they enjoyed our approach to conversation. Look, you get it, and that's the thing. Like you can sense, everyone's excited. The media's excited. The players, they go through these car washes and speak to thousands, and like it feels like must for them thousands of people. But honestly, some of them probably do speak to 100 people in a day.
Yeah.
Like they chat to that many, and it was very nice chatting to them. I think they enjoyed that we didn't dig in on Bo Nix's injury. Didn't spend time lamenting that.
Afterwards, that we asked, like, because look, one of the biggest compliments, and we'll toot our own horn, toot toot. Beep, beep.
Wait, don't continue singing that song.
Yeah.
Just no.
But yeah, they were like, thanks for the chat, and they go through there are hundreds of like small little radio stations, big podcasts, like TV stations, all
Huge
this.
TV sets.
And a lot of people are asking about why aren't they in the Super Bowl, or do they wish they were there and not here doing media and stuff. And and shout out to Bounty, by the way, our good friends at Bounty. If I need paper towels, I use Bounty. But yeah, I just thought it was just refreshing when they were like, thanks guys, we had a bit of fun. I mean, you're going to hear it and see it in a minute.
Absolutely. And I think like it does feel like there's a lot of star power around. It hasn't flushed all the way through Radio Row, but because the Pro Bowl is here in Super Bowl week, which are the Pro Bowl games.
Just tonight. Our time in we're recording this.
It's catch some of the action on ESPN.
Tuesday, the 3rd, San Jose time.
Sure, yeah, because we are spending time. There's a bit of time in San Jose more than San
Francisco. I was in Santa Monica. I've done all the Sans.
You really, just
my font.
Yeah,
Sans.
Let's just try and keep you out of San Quentin this week, if that's all right. And Johnny Cash just starts to play. But I think because of the Pro Bowl being here this week, it feels like there's a lot of big names around town. I was walking outside, meeting our comms man, Adam Santarosa. And there goes Ndamukong Suh, just having a little casual walk by. Yes. Didn't want to get on the wrong side of Ndamukong Suh.
No.
He was known to play with a bit of an edge.
Shall
we say. Yeah.
How many teams did he end up playing for? Like 6?
Quite a few. Yeah, there's some, he went into that end of the career, especially for pass rush as a defensive lineman, where mercenary, but you do tend to you're the type of piece that the contenders want.
Yeah.
We put you in the middle of that defensive line. How about some young defensive players? Give us 30 really good snaps a game, and it changes our rotation. So he kind of went into that. But it's a hell of a week. There's so much going on. There's
people here. There's other shows being recorded around us.
It's all happening. The analysts that you see walking, like, oh, no, you from here. No, you from here. Oh, I've been following you for 20 years. Apparently I caught a spiral off Chris Sims before.
You did?
Yeah. Didn't.
And you
chatted
to Shefty on the...
Had a little chat with Shefty.
We've
been chasing the story. We're over here. This time last year, the Melbourne announcement dropped. Yeah. Leaked, dropped. It all happened. And so we are trying to figure out who is playing. We have our theories, we've talked about them. We're trying to figure out who's playing the Rams. There's a couple of teams that get a bit of extra focus, but we went so far as to ask the big man himself, Adam Schefter, the number one newsbreaker in the NFL world, and you can catch it on the ESPN Australia and New Zealand socials. He even said, I don't have the read on that yet, but as he pointed out, and I guess it's a great place to be, with the Rams there, the quality that they bring, and a lot of the likely opponents, shall we say, that are on the contenders list, it's going to be a hell of a game.
Not the Cardinals.
Yeah, because I believe the buzz that's gone is the Paris game got announced.
Yes.
Which I believe is Saints-Browns.
Saints-Browns.
It's definitely Saints, and I think the Browns.
sack record.
Yeah.
Miles, you get Miles Garrett.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's going to be I'm not sure that's going to be. The type
Chuck
of
in Paris.
piece de resistance that they're used to over there in Paris. Yeah. But we're trying to figure out. We spoke to Michael Dickson, and we've got a little chat with him that'll drop later in the show as well.
Should we start with the Bonitto?
But let's start with Pat Surtain and Nik Bonitto. Oh, you almost got me saying it.
Boys, I'm just going to rip straight into this. I saw at the Pro Bowl yesterday, Pat, you were talking about hardest positions. They were asking people to play. You said quarterback, yeah? Yeah, Nick, you feel the same way? It's quarterback?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, what about the easiest position to play?
Probably offensive guard or something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you had to take one snap an offensive guard, you reckon you could do it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah? I mean, you got help on both sides.
You got help
both sides, for sure.
So while we're talking about, positions of other teammates, roles you might take, we actually have a couple of photos to show you. I want you to try and forget about who these people are that you know them as, what they do day to day. But have a look at these photos and tell us what you think this person would be doing if they weren't in football. You saw this man walking down the street. What does he do for a living?
What job do you think this man does?
He might be an accountant.
Accountant?
Yeah. Somewhere,
Trying to sell you insurance?
Yeah, something like that.
Calling you up on the phone? You got life insurance?
Exactly.
Cold calls from Sean
Cold
Williams.
calls? Yeah. All right, okay, nothing. You're walking down, shut your eyes, walking down the street, ready, and then, all right, bam, you see this guy. What's he do?
Oh man. What would Bo do, bro?
I don't know. I mean, he probably, I don't know, gives me vibes like, those guys like outside of restaurants or like one of those like pizza places that just holds the sign up. Or,
Spins it and stuff?
Yeah, maybe one of those guys.
I feel like when you go to T-Mobile and you're like trying to get like a phone or something, he's like trying to say something.
Yeah.
What would Bo be, man?
I
don't know. It just like a youth motivator or something. Like,
Motivator. Yeah.
youth motivator.
Yeah, that.
He wants to make sure everybody stays on the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
track.
stay on the right track.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
There's going to be distractions in life.
Yeah.
But this is
He
the
with
way.
the youth, man. He with the.
All right,
Last one.
Okay, you ready? You're walking down the street.
This handsome face.
Bam. What's this man do?
Zach. He'll be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
WWE?
Yeah, nice, like big monster heel type guy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I can see him as a wrestler.
Go-to move?
Something where he's like just falling on somebody, just all his weight on him.
Just in his belly.
Yeah.
Laying down.
Little splash off.
Laying down on
Maybe
top of
splash
it.
off the middle rope, not the top rope.
Yeah.
Just the middle rope.
Doesn't jump off
quite
top
get to
rope,
the
Just
top
jump
turnbuckle.
off the top rope onto the dude.
Just the Allen splash.
Yeah.
It's all
Allen
over.
splash. There you go.
That's actually tough.
We're talking about Pro Bowl as well. I don't know if you saw Michael Parsons. They were playing a golf simulator, and Brandon Aubrey's kicker like hit a ball, and he's like, "That's my kicker. That's my kicker." And then,
Forward kicker.
yeah, someone had to be like, "Man, you guys don't play together." Have you guys ever forgot that like someone isn't your teammate anymore? You feel like they still are your teammate?
Missed them a little bit in the
Yeah.
locker room.
Sometimes, yeah.
Is there any? Who do you miss? It could be here. It could be at college.
Who did I miss? Miss?
Yeah.
I don't know if I missed, but like, obviously when you go around, when you meet different players, the locker room, you sort of keep those memories and that brotherhood. So I can see that happening.
You got a podcast with a former teammate?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't miss him?
Not former. He was a little bit younger than me, but
younger,
like, Terry, good dude, great dude.
The podcast, I mean, you've been on it.
Yeah, no.
Are you listening to it, though?
I listen all the time, man, and, I used to see it. I'm like, damn, when they gonna bring me on there? But, they ended up doing it, so it was a good episode, too.
Did you have to ask?
Nah, Pat actually came up to me about it, so I felt honored about it.
We had to have Nick on. We had to have Bonitto on, man.
Is there too much DB talk on the pod? Does it need more pass rush emphasis? Do we need more love for the guys up front of the pod, or are they giving enough shine to you guys up front?
I think they give enough shine, man, and honestly, like, they talk about more funny stuff than like any of like the DB stuff. So
we don't even be talking about. Yeah. We just he'll go off topic and just talk about other stuff and tell a story here and there. But
while we're going off topic and other stuff, a couple of weeks ago, Aziz Al-Shaya from the Texans was talking about music that gets played, and maybe there's a White Boy Wednesdays playlist that goes on. Some tracks go on there. We want to know who gets the aux cord for you guys at practice or in the locker room, and would there be any songs that you'd like to suggest that could maybe wind up on a White Boy Mondays playlist?
Malcolm Roach.
Yeah, Roach. He always on the aux.
Roach. He always on the aux.
Solid taste.
Yeah, he got some good. It's very locker room friendly.
Yep.
Gets along with the locker room well. Yeah. He got a good choice.
If you had to like put a song, like if you had to give something to put on that playlist, like
maybe Zach Allen gets the aux cord.
Okay, Zach Allen.
Yeah, what's he
throwing out there?
Some White Boy Wednesday stuff.
Yeah. Maybe some like Coldplay. Maybe some.
Okay.
Getting yellow flowing through the Broncos locker room.
Yeah.
Some Linkin Park, something like that.
It seems to be the go-to.
Yeah.
What about as well? We got a game. We got our first ever NFL game in Australia in Melbourne next season. You were telling me, Nick, you were down in New Zealand as well recently. What do you guys know about Australia? Like, tell us what you know, like, so we can sort of figure out how we can help you get some more information about it.
Well, I did see on TikTok that there's like a Warner Brothers world somewhere in Australia. I want to go there. I want to be able to experience that. And just like all the other stuff that's off the offer as well.
Yeah.
I know the kangaroos and stuff. Yeah. That's pretty on point with it. But
which side of the kangaroos have you seen? The happy, cute jumping ones, or when they wrestle your dog away from you and they're ready to start?
I seen the jabs. I seen all that.
Man, they will fight you.
Both sides. Yeah, they'll fight.
They will fight you. Yeah.
You just they catch your eye and you give them the respectful
we
look back, a little
head. We got an Aussie on the team though.
Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yeah.
So he taught us a lot of slang and stuff like that.
What do you know? Give us some words there.
All right, mate.
Mate, yeah.
All right, mate.
That's good. He started off on the solid basis. He's got on the right track. And that was just the first taste of who we're getting to sit down and chat with. A little bit of teaser, but we got all pros on the list. We've got pro bowlers on the list.
There's some names we got locked in. We kind of don't want to mention just in case. Look, things
the
do
old
happen.
rug
Gets pulled out. Things change.
But
there's also some other ones that we definitely don't have, but we've put some requests in to chat to.
Absolutely.
Which we'd be really excited
I'll tease
about.
that tomorrow could feature some higher level line of scrimmage players that may be making their way down to our part of the world in the next 7-8 months.
Might be a bloke that might have got, in a celebrity NBA
All-Star game,
also plays in the
hands
NFL.
and routes might be his. And there might be, a big man, a big bopper, that actually gets a couple of trick plays called for him to get out in space. That's all we're going to tease. You can let your imagination run wild, but good chatting to the Broncos guys who are in great spirits. And especially as you said, this season didn't end the way that they thought they could have careened upwards towards. It went the wrong direction, but I mean,
but I think chatting to them as well, they just seemed, after getting hammered with all those questions of do you wish you're there and all this, I think there's an element of they're just a young team. Even Bo Nix is young. I mean, we make fun of some quarterbacks older than others and how long you stay in college or whatever, but I think there's a lot of things to be confident.
He's asterisk young.
That's what I mean. NFL young?
Yeah.
I mean, Phillip Rivers played, he's 44, so Bo Nix is young.
Love some Phillip Rivers out here at Radio Red this week. That'd be a good time.
Yeah. Well, you saw he was a serious candidate for the Bills thing, but then he was like, I don't know if I can fully commit.
I don't know if you guys know, but I have 6,000 children.
Yeah.
And the last couple months or the last month or so, dipping out on the misses there.
He's probably in trouble. Needs to stay. So we're at Radio right now. We had opening night the other night, which was, look, I'll be honest, it wasn't as engaging as I thought it would be. I think the room didn't help.
No, it was usually it's
massive.
on a field. Most of the time I've been to it, it's been on a field.
Yeah.
Quite often the game field.
Yeah.
And you've got the stadium lights kind of featured in, and the atmosphere is built that way. It felt like a smaller room, and look, I think that the Seahawks side of things, they're stacked with talent across the board. The fact that you've got the likes of Kenneth Walker without a podium.
Yeah, but he's just walking around.
Whereas I do feel
every time I try to get near him, he went back.
Yeah. He gave you the Omar Speight treatment. Yeah, all of a sudden you're number 48. But it's interesting. I think if I took something out of it, we spoke to Dicko and that was great, and had a couple of nice chats around the place, but it's one of these environments where there's so much technically available to you in terms of the names that are there. The crowds are so big, and so many people are asking dinky die little social pop questions that it combines this weird energy of people being as competitive and boxing each other out at a presser like it's some sort of political scandal day.
Yeah.
But then the questions that come out are,
is this a must-win game?
Is this a must-win game? Mike Vrabel, if you saw a player picking his nose, would you cut him on the spot or allow him to stay on the roster? Maybe practice squad. And so it's this weird energy that you get out there. But great to speak to Dicko. And I do think it's something we talked about, top down, we both feel across the board, the roster is stronger with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And look, that's on paper, and this game isn't won on paper, but that's kind of reaffirmed last night because you did feel the star power was less during the Patriots session. There were less big crowds.
There was less people around. There's a media room sort of out the back where there's food and drink and stuff, which is massive, right? Yeah. And there were more people, as Laurie sort of said, when the Seahawks all came out. Because all the Patriots come out, there's a couple of overlap. They do sort of a chat on stage. Scott Hansen sort of hosted that.
Yep.
Then the Patriots are gone, and the Seahawks all sort of come out again. There's 12 booths of the bigger players.
About a dozen.
But as you said, Kent Walker the third is I would argue he's a big player, but he wasn't in that, so he's walking around.
Whereas
Dixon's one of the 50 greatest Seahawks of all time. He's walking around.
He's sauntering.
So it was vastly different levels of fame in the teams, I would say.
No, it could mean absolutely nothing. But it does feel like it speaks a little bit to what we're talking about, which is when, the quarterback position is the quarterback position. It's the most important spot on the field. Drake Maye has had a better season than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's playing great football.
Yeah.
Drake Maye is second team All-Pro, still in the running for MVP. My opinion is if it's going to a quarterback, should go to Stafford. All that being said. But beyond that, when you look at the offensive line, the defensive line, the secondaries, the skill positions, the wide receiver, the star power, and just the general performance and talent this season swings towards the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe that you got around there. But I think, look, guys, you also need to recognize that, we didn't attack this like everybody else. We approached the opportunities that we had in a uniquely NFL afters way. And, right at the end of Mike McDonald, Seattle Seahawks head coach at his session. I wanted to ask him about their head strength and conditioning coach, Danny Van Dyke, who's Australian from Sydney, and has obviously been a big part of this operation. And he gave a great answer on that. But to balance out that football thoughtfulness that we do bring to the table on occasion, Jimmy then perked up with some Seahawks branded official NFL budgy-smugglers, which he then tossed to arguably the NFL Coach of the Year.
I said, put these on. Put these on, big boy.
And he had a look at them. He said, do you know what budgy-smugglers are? Not quite.
Well, yeah, I don't think he did until he lifted it up, and then he was like,
I know who I'm giving these to.
Yeah.
So a nice little moment there, and he appreciated.
He did. He had a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
So he got a football question. He got to acknowledge one of the
contributing men behind the scenes that doesn't get all the shine.
Yeah, doesn't get the shine like a lot of players, and then also it's like, you Aussies are weird. You're weird people.
Yeah, we confirmed that.
So
I don't think we've done a lot to dispel that around here.
And I will be dropping my pants at Radio Row at some point this week in my budgy-smugglers.
I mean, there's I think in an NFL game you get presented new things and you have to adapt the game plan. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that.
People are going to have to adapt. Who's this sexy guy in budgy-smugglers? That'd be me.
But opening night is one of those weird ones where there's so much around, and yet you don't always feel like you can always get tons out of every different single person. You're hoping to get one of the good ones was Matt Collins, the Barefoot Wonder, who he gave a great answer about the Melbourne ties to his barefoot philosophy and how it's helped his body. And then he's also done work with the Asia Pacific Academy up on the Gold Coast, the NFL Academy. And he was like...
He wants to move.
He wants to move. Yeah, you offered him a real estate agent you put him in touch with.
Ruben, mate, you got to look after Mac and get him a house on the Gold Coast.
He said about the town down there, he's like, it was crazy. I'd be working with these guys who are 4 or 5 inches taller than me, 60 pounds heavier than me, and I'm playing with them, and I'm like, looking at the town, this is amazing. Asking where they play the football, and they're like, I'm just 14, I'm at high school. And he's like, you have some absolute beasts down there, which is great to hear, and it's great to, it's great when... While we're talking about athletes coming down to Australia and what could possibly go wrong. But it's great when people come down and there's publicity to it and it's good community things. But when they actually come down and do substantial stuff and they come away going, geez, the talent's something down there. It's nice. I
think for that as well, for a long time, I think most Australians in the NFL were punters. They were kickers, right? And former AFL players. And now, shout out Jesse, who I think, was really leading the front that way. He had to go to JUCO in Arizona, and then he got,
It was part of that early wave. Jesse Williams, Adam Gotsis. Blake Muir was there at Baylor for a while.
But it didn't feel like everyone was getting that opportunity. There were kids, to your point, that are taller and bigger, physically, but they actually really can't compete in rugby league and rugby union. At the Super Bowl last year, I joked with Jordan Mailata, I was like, hey, look, 2 guys who failed at rugby league. And he was like, that's funny because they show my clips, but he's like, I was so big that I could play 5-10 minutes. I'm so gassed.
The weight that they wanted him to drop to during his rugby league time was not good for him.
So I'm like, now there's an opportunity for these guys, and then NFL actual guys are seeing it and recognizing it, and these kids are like, oh, maybe I can go over there and get a college education, get a degree, get paid for it, because now they pay athletes.
They do. Little NIL action.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a phenomenal start.
The great man?
I think it's time to hear from one Mr. Michael Dickson, who shared thoughts on the journey that the Seahawks have had over this season, but also, we may have asked him what his thoughts about who should be lining up at the MCG. Michael Dickson, congratulations on reaching this point. When we spoke back at Seahawks training camp, there was certainly a great feeling of expectation, belief. You could feel it in the building, the talent that was assembled. Was there a point during this season, a performance that the team had where you go, you know what, we can really do some damage here in the NFC?
I think when we went on a run where we were just kind of crushing teams and it wasn't even close, you have to be a pretty good team to be able to do that to other NFL teams. So that was a point where I was like, wow, we're doing pretty well, and hopefully we can maintain this and just keep improving, and we have.
The pivotal punt in the NFC title game that drew the fumble, when that ball comes off your boot, do you already know when it's sailing up there, this could cause some trouble for the return man?
Yeah, you can do certain things to the ball, and after the first one that he had trouble with, I was like, I need to do that again. And I told Drake, our gunner, I was like, just be ready. And yeah, he picked it up real quick, didn't give the guy a chance. So yeah, such a blur. Like at a moment like that, when everyone's getting around you, it's just fun. It's a great feeling.
A guy like Mitch Wishnowski's been to this level before, someone that you know well, comes through the same punting pipeline with Pro Kick. Have you spoken to him at all about handling this week, his experience that he had here with the 49ers?
No, I haven't. I probably should have, but no, I haven't. I kind of do my own routine, and I kind of just don't want to add more to my plate, just kind of go about it how I go about it.
Marcus Jones is a really dangerous return man. He's had a couple of scores off punt returns, touchdowns. He's taken one back on defense as well, so clearly an open field threat. Is there a strategy or is there something you have in mind to try and contain him in the return game?
We come across a lot of good returners all the time, and he's obviously elite. But it's going to be exciting. We got, arguably the best returner on our team as well, so it'll be cool to see those boys see who has a better game.
The Aussie connection here is long established. There's been players here at the Seahawks that have been part of franchises that made Super Bowl runs. But the Aussie connection this season, yourself here, but also the head strength and conditioning coach, Danny Van Dyke. What's it been like working with him, a familiar accent? How important has he been for yourself and the team and what you guys have been able to put out there week in, week out? Yeah,
he's elite. He's always, living our team philosophy of chasing edges, and he does that in the weight room, and he's great. We talk often and have a game plan about my season and about my week this week, and he's awesome. I love Danny.
Be remiss not to ask about the MCG game. Obviously, all eyes are on Super Bowl this week, but the Seahawks are a potential team down there. You're a guy who grew up playing Aussie rules. You've kicked many a Sharon. I'm sure your mind did wander to launching a couple at the MCG when you were a kid. How does it feel that there's a chance that you could be sending a few Duke spirals up with all those people watching 100,000 strong on home shore?
No. We need to get it done. I don't know who to talk to, just get the Seahawks there. We should have been the first team. So hopefully we are. We'll see.
Yeah, look, good from Moz there, and old Dicko, not to be confused with the bloke from Australian Idol, but I did ask him, because I'm like, obviously he's from Sydney, he's from, the Sutherland Shire.
Yes.
And, he'd already said it to you, and been bitterly disappointed that, if it's not the Seahawks, that, if he was going to go to the MCG, he's like, he should be in Sydney, that's his hometown, right? We've got plenty of great stadiums. Look at the Rugby World Cup, they're not playing at the MCG.
Notably.
But I asked him, where do you want to play? And he was I think he was trying to think between Allianz or out of the core or whatever in Sydney. Yeah. And then I just threw it out. I was like, what about Shark Park, mate?
Southern boy comes home.
Yeah. You and Nico Hines. Yeah. Putting up some talk.
Oh, mate, press conference afterwards at Northies, right?
Yeah.
You
said he'd kick it out of the stadium into Northies.
Yeah. Just getting an early start on post-game proceedings.
But I love it. Great man, confident, seemed really calm, cool, collected. Obviously he doesn't probably want to get a lot of touches, but I think he has a huge game.
No, and he, just speaking of him, the relish he took from causing that turnover.
Yeah.
And he said it was all a blur, when everyone's getting around you that much. But he's a guy that has a name known around the NFL, a Pro Bowl, All-Pro nominations, those kind of things. He has that name, but to be able to deliver in that big spot, because special teams goes unnoticed. You do see, you see it in the Pro Bowl, certainly. You see it in All-Pro stuff even. Sometimes you see guys get in on special teams. It's is anyone actually watching this, or do they get in name brand?
Yeah.
He is name brand, but then he shows the level of production in the and it's all intentional. You think, he kicked the ball in the air, probably kicked it that way 1,000 times. How could it possibly cause a fumble? But he said, mate, there's some things you can do with the ball to really give some nightmares to the guys back there.
And we grew up doing that. If you go in the park to kick a footy, I said to my mate Alan, who played in the AFL the other day, he relished kicking this footy back and forth to me because he was putting so much spice on it that when it comes down, it swerves at the last minute and I fall over in the park. On top of my dog Goose.
You falling over in the park is a common occurrence. Yeah. Right, that's from someone who's trying to make a little history. From that to we've got history. Brought to you by our friends at StatMate. We've got a couple of fun ones to run through this week. Very, very, very much looking forward to. But the ledger still reads 6-7. Jimmy is ahead by 1. We are going toe-to-toe positionally throughout this week, and we're starting where else but the quarterback spot.
Quarterback.
Jimmy, what trend, what bit of history, performance-wise, are you looking at to either continue or discontinue? Are you cancelling someone analytically?
I'll go through some of the stats, then I'll tell you, right? So I'm talking Drake Maye. Comes this game just having snuck past the Cowboys in the Conference Championship. Look, he only threw for 86 yards in that game. We do know that was affected by snow, and they didn't have that. He has averaged 246.35, you want to get really specific, on the year, thrown for 31 touchdowns.
35 is next level.
Throwing 2 passing touchdowns in 12 of 20 games this year. Arm's a weapon. I thought at one point this year, He had the best deep ball.
Yeah.
What we were seeing was incredible. I do think there has been a little bit of regression. I also am going to put on there as well that the guy I saw on opening night seemed a little rattled in the lights when people were asking him questions compared to Sam Darnold. Like Guillermo from like Jimmy Kimmel Live put that ham on his hat.
Yeah.
And Sam seemed to be laughing, having fun,
The
talking about
Peacock
giving Drew
looks comfortable.
giving like Drew a couple of snaps if they get like just look calm. Drake was very calm, calculated, like shoulders seemed a bit. I just didn't like the guy.
Body language,
body
doctor.
language, very much body language, and I think I'm going under 220 yards.
Yep, you think that
Under.
that recent reversal of form continues. And you know what? You know what's interesting? We talked about it we talked about this matchup and the joke, the one-liner that Sam Darnold had about, well, I've actually been to a Super Bowl before.
Yeah.
Right, when he was a backup quarterback with the San Francisco 49ers, obviously lost, but we said, like, could a sneaky snake take? Could the sneaky snake be that a little factor, a little hidden element is, he hasn't played in a Super Bowl yet. There's nothing that compared to being under those bright lights. But when it comes to handling this,
Did you see? I don't think we've spoken about this because Laurie and I obviously chat outside the podcast. No, we don't.
No, we don't. No.
Complete silence.
No, absolutely. I actually blocked his number. The fact that he actually got here at the right time, I don't know. Someone must have leaked it.
And we're in the same hotel room, so we do not speak. We kiss each other on the cheek, and then we just roll it. No,
really
did you see the
miss
clip?
my wife right
Did
now.
you see the? Do you see the clip where he was saying how he was talking to other players about don't pack too much, you get given a lot of... Did you see that?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so there was like, because the guys were asking him, because he'd been to a Super Bowl going, what do I expect? What do I see? And he goes, oh, this is going to happen. Don't pack too many clothes. You get given a lot of free stuff. And he goes, yeah, it really helped. And he goes, and I've been passing it on to the other guys. Laurie Horesh, you're right, sir.
It's not often, but when it is,
Let me put on my lip balm and kiss you, my friend.
I will
my
crow
lips
about
it's
it.
cold here. I got
all
a
right,
jacket on.
my side of this. While we're talking about the Peacock Sam Darnold, and I say this is a nickname. Oh boy, let's start. The love in San Francisco is
I haven't
flowing.
even had a beer today yet.
No,
So
certainly
we have the
haven't.
media after party tonight.
Once the show's live, of course.
Yeah.
Now, the Peacock, and I call him the Peacock. It's a running joke in some of our group chats and stuff because amongst all the chaos of his career and the tumult, there were these temperamental moments, these flourishes, as you get with the Peacock, where it all just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So I am turning to Sam Darnold here, and I am saying, look, regular season record, the numbers aren't as gaudy as some of the other quarterbacks, but he's kept the ball moving, he's played clean football, and away from Seattle, he's averaged over 250 yards, over 253 yards, and he's gone over 225 in 7 of 9 games, which is actually more productive than he was at home up there in Seattle. I think that continues. I think the platform is set. I think the platform is set. Put some respect on the defense of the New England Patriots, particularly when the likes of Christian Gonzalez are out there. Your mate, I won't say him, I'll say MW. I won't say his full name because I don't need anybody crying on set on day one.
And he said an interview, and he's like, what did Seattle, what did my birds offer you? And he was like, didn't really offer me anything. And I was like...
Not even one of the Melbourne-themed cups of coffee that you can get out here for free.
Look, how he's allowed a couple of misses. I just wish he didn't miss this time.
But I think
You're going over.
I'm going over the 225 mark, and I think that handling the offensive line, handling that front start, but I think weapons-wise in the offensive side of things, I think they've got more than enough, established a little run game, play balanced football, but I think 225 is a number that Sam Darnold can go past. It looks like it's not going to be warm, but it doesn't look, no signs of weather being a huge element during the game. It's an outdoor stadium, but this is nothing that we've seen, not the frosty conditions you would have seen in a Seattle type of environment, and certainly not anything that we saw at Denver in the AFC title game. So I've got Sam Darnold going over there, and I think, look, a lot of people like to tease their picks for later in the week. Look, we've been pretty upfront about it.
A lot of conversations about it,
Nothing's changed so far. We are on that Seattle side, but that's where I'm looking as I try and, in this game, overturn. It's tough because we're going to have 3 or 4 picks this week.
Yeah.
I'm down 1.
Yeah.
So
I
need at least a 3-1 victory.
I'll be honest, between the two, if I had to pick one, I would go with Laurie's. I do think Sam is going to go over. I think that is a safer bet. I don't know what the odds are, but I do think I'm a body language guy. The guy I saw looked a little rattled.
Yeah.
If he was a bird in a cage, it would me be going...
Bird in a Cage. Is that a Soundgarden song? No, that's Rusty Cage. Bird in hand?
Rusty
Bird
trombone.
in my...
That's right.
Whoa.
Whoa! Whoa! This chick is all the way back. All right, we're going to wrap up.
We are. That's day one. That's
day
episode one from Radio Row. Look, we're out here having an absolute ball.
I do have something for you. I have a joke before we go.
Oh, okay.
Because we're not going to do
I said we were having a ball.
Yeah, we're not going to do Jimmy's Blitz every day.
No.
Maybe we won't even do it at all, but I got Jimmy's jokes.
God.
Because I did run into a fella earlier who came over and knew who I was. And he's like, I need some jokes, Jim.
It
I
happened.
need some jokes.
It really did happen.
So I was like, all right, I got one for you.
Yep.
So, Laurie, last year I went to the Super Bowl.
I'm aware.
I took my seat. There's a guy next to me and an empty seat. And I go, mate, this is a Super Bowl. I was like, what's the empty seat? And he goes, oh, it's really sad, but he's like, my wife passed away. And I was like, oh, mate, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's awful. I gave him my condolences, gave him a hug, you know, that's awful. And he goes, yeah, you know, we bought the ticket several months ago and now she's passed away and she can't be here. And I was like, well, you know, you got a fan? Yeah, I got kids, I got grandkids. And I'm like, what's up? One of the kids couldn't come? Like, they couldn't come to the Super Bowl? And he was like, no, they're at the funeral.
Just the inside of me right now is praying that was a joke and not what really happened. But with Jimmy Smith, you truly never know.
We'll never know. That could be a true story.
Well, that's a way to end the first episode. I said we were having a ball. Now I feel like I'm mourning. But look, guys, stay tuned all week and make sure you smash subscribe, follow along. We want ratings.
I don't know what day we're going to do yet, but we will do a bunch of questions.
We have a hot mic happening for you because we're not here without the amazing audience and listeners and honestly family of NFL Afters that we do get and how you contribute to the show. So we want your best, we want your spiciest, we want your most fun observations. And it can be about the football or it can be about anything else, but we want those questions, we want those hot mic moments sent in our way. But look, we're here all week, guys. Follow along ESPN Australia YouTube page, you know, the ESPN Australia New Zealand socials across every single platform. Again, subscribe to the pod on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Absolutely follow along and subscribe on YouTube channel. The fantastic YouTube channel we have there.
Share it. This is the one time we got Super Bowl Monday in Australia. Yeah, it's on Monday.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is everyone's watching. I know a lot of my mates are asking me where they can go watch it in Sydney.
Absolutely.
But share this. Get them ready for it. The best way to get ready for Super Bowl Monday is Super Bowl NFL Afters Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Correct. And also, make sure you're following. He doesn't need any more followers, but make sure you're following along Jimmy at
Jimmy Smith V.
And myself at Loz Talks Ball.
Yeah, Loz Talks Ball. It's my boy now. He's talking ball.
Ah, yes, apparently. What type of ball? We have no idea. Pokeball, perhaps.
Balls. Yeah.
If my son has anything to do
with it, yeah.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining along. We're so pumped to kick off this week. There's so much more coming your way. And look, as you know, same time, same channel,
tomorrow.
Same crazy football goodness. This time tomorrow, I am Laurie Horesh. This Jimmy, and this has been just one early chapter of NFL Afters for Super Bowl week from Radio Live, brought to you by friends from PointsBet. We'll see you next time.
Dallas sucks. Go Birds.
No, this week we're all winners.